Hey YouTube, this is New York Cat Fast Prepper. Coming at you Friday night here with a reloading tip. Not really a tip, but this is just the way that I do it. I've been struggling. I mastered reloading pistol rounds, but the rifle rounds are proving a little bit more challenging. The brass prep is kicking my ass. So this is what I came up with. All of this brass that you see here, this is a couple of handfuls out of my bucket. I got a big giant bucket down there, and even more that got to be cleaned. But first I clean it, and then I'll lay it out here on this. This is an old towel that's been decommissioned, and then I'll lube it up with the case lube. And then I have my press here, and this die here is the Lee full-length sizing die and decapping die. It pops the old primer out, and it sizes it. So then, after I get the round decapped and sized, I have this thing here. This is the Lyman case prep station. I went with the Lyman just because I like the way it looked. It has the tools up here. But any brand will work. They're all the same shit. They all have the same A32 tool heads, and they all have 2, 3, 4, 5 of these things that spin around. I just like the Lyman because it looked like it was easier to clean. But Hornady, Lee makes one, I think. Hornady definitely makes a nice one. So then I take it here. This tool here is a primer pocket uniformer, and you don't really need it with 223 because I find that I don't know if this particular tool is a little short. It says in the book that it's made to SAME specifications. But anyway, I found that it doesn't really cut anything out of the primer pocket. This brass here is from when I was doing some 30-06 stuff before this. So I put it on here, but if you get a round that's been military crimped, it won't fit on here. So I kind of use it like as a gauge. And if the round won't fit it on here, I put it aside, and then I hit it with the Dillon Super Swage 600, which this thing is the best. Sorry Hornady, sorry RCBS, sorry Lee. This is the tool for pushing out the military crimps. This is the way to go. The only thing that's better than this is to actually do it on a press, like the Dillon 650 or the 1050. You can swage your brass right on the press, but hopefully Santa will bring me one of those presses for Christmas and I can get set up doing that. But in the meantime, I got this. It's expensive. It runs about $100, but it's worth every penny. So, and then my trimming, I have the Little Crow trimmer, and I have it in it. This is an old Craftsman drill press that my father gave me. Which works fine. It just all it does is hold it here and spin it around, and I take the rounds. If they're more than 1.76, I'll take them and I'll shove them in here and I'll trim them down to 1.75, and then after that they go in the bucket. So they come out of one thing, I put them up here, and I run through all of these stations here on this thing. I consider this one the brush. I wish it had metal bristles on it, but it has plastic. But this is an invaluable tool because I find that a lot of times the media and shit like that is still in the case. So this is good for cleaning out the inside. And this one here just cleans out the primer pocket. And this is a lot better than the little tool that I do by hand. And this thing is a lot better than this thing. If you're doing a lot of brass, I mean, if you're doing some precision, really accurate rifle loads, this thing here is the way to go because you can tweak it and get it right down to the size that you need, within 1/1000th of an inch by hand. This thing is a little more crude, but it's the way to go if you're doing a lot of brass. If you're doing a couple thousand rounds, you get the Little Crow trimmer here. And short of doing it on a press with the Dillon setup on the trimming die on a press, this is probably the best thing that you can get. So that's just, take it for what it's worth. That's just the way that I'm doing it. But because this thing, I've been a learning curve with this rifle brass, and this thing has been kicking my ass. So, all right, that's it. Any questions, comments? And if anybody's got a way to improve this setup, by all means, put it down below. I won't be offended. That's it. I'm out.